Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Station Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Andor Episode 2. So Andor is the prequel series to Star Wars Rogue One, which shows us an era filled with danger, deception, and intrigue. Cassian will embark on a path he is destined to turn into a rebel hero. For Episode 2, we have a really cool introduction to a lot of issues. But let me give you a quick rundown of the creative team behind this episode. Directors Benjamin Karen and Toby Haynes, written by Tony Gilroy. Episode 2, Cassian attempts to lay low on Ferrix as agents of the law close in. This episode stars Diego Luna as Cassian Andor, Adrian Arjona as Bix Callian, Dave Chapman as B or B2EMO, Kyle Solar as Sailor Karn, who is one of the officers, and we also have the introduction of Stellan Skarsgård as Luthen Rail. I got to tell you, out of the three episodes, I would say this one was probably the weakest, and that's not saying much because all the episodes are very strong, just in comparison to the other two. Because I have watched them all by now. Episode 2 is definitely not as on over the top. It feels a little bit like a transition episode. But what I think I really enjoyed in this one is that we expanded a lot more with Cassian remembering or the flashbacks to him being a child on Canary, and the events that kind of led us here. We're also introduced to his mom, which is like really cool. And the other thing is that it really lets us know that Cassian is this character who, overall, although he may have a reputation, I would say even as a bit of a scoundrel around Ferrix, he has people that care for him. So knowing everything we know about the character, like he was a completely different person when we met him in Rogue One. So this episode, he goes around throughout a lot of people trying to, figure out what his next step is going to be and preparing maybe to escape. So I love Diego Luna. I think his performance continues to be amazing. I really like the introduction of Stellan Skarsgård, even for however brief it was in this episode. It really feels like we are moving forward. But yeah, in the big scheme of things, episode 2 was a little bit of a transition. I've heard a few people try to. I'm glad they dropped 3 episodes because I've heard a few people talk about this. Almost feels like it could be a movie on its own, and if it was, it'll be one of the best Star Wars movies we've ever seen. Um, the this just continues to be great, but I guess I will say there's still not a sequence in this episode that just kind of jumps out of my mind immediately like there was in episode 1, and I'll talk about on episode 3. um, I do think that Bix's coworker slash boyfriend maybe, um, that's probably the part I like the least. That's kind of how Cassian Andor was found by this corporation, right? That because of some jealous guy. Even though I don't think that Bix has given us any indication that there's any romantic link between her and Cassian. So, but other than that, I think the show's been great. It's really hitting all cylinders. I also really love the kind of critique of this corporation slash police force that they're trying like they they're it's like a proto empire because they're not really part of the empire. It feels like they're subcontractors. So it's really interesting to see Cyril Karn, like he kind of lets this power go to his head. He's in charge because the main district deputy is away, or whatever, whatever his position is. So really interesting that this power hungry, like he has been told to drop this issue, and yet he continues down that path. So you know really interesting stuff. I really like it. I also think that it's really funny when we're introduced to this other character that I just immediately dislike, and I think that was the purpose. He's part of the corporation, and he's like this, somebody that wants to play everything by the book or whatever. But we know that they're in the wrong. Although Cassian's also not in the right, so there's a lot of gray area in the show. But I think overall, because we know how things turn out, and we know how why this, like in real life, I'm not gonna root for a corporation. So, uh, really interesting stuff. I love learning more about Cassian's past, and we can just continue to have these sequences of like these kids on Canary that don't speak English. They only speak Canarian, and there's no subtitles or anything. I love that exploration because they're doing such a good job of, like, you understand what they're doing and what's going on just based on their actions, which I love it. It's like this whole like show not tell type of thing that you have to be very good at, otherwise it's not gonna work. So anyways, this was really good. I really enjoyed it once again, and I'm loving this series so far. Well, as I mentioned at the beginning, go check out our episode 1 review, and we'll have episode 3 coming up as well. So, as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.